Welcome back, truth seekers, to Hidden History and Biblical Mystery. Today we're diving deep into something that might surprise you, the recent Planet of the Apes trilogy. Now, you might be thinking, what do movies about talking apes have to do with Black history in the Bible? Well, buckle up, because we're about to uncover some mind-blowing connections. These movies aren't just about apes, they're a powerful allegory for the Black experience in America wrapped up in a sci-fi package. The producers themselves have admitted that the ape uprising in conquest of the Planet of the Apes was inspired by the Watts riots. This isn't just entertainment, folks. It's a reflection of our struggle, our history, and even biblical prophecies about our people. Let's start with Rise of the Planet of the Apes. The whole concept of the Genesis drug that enhances ape intelligence, that's straight out of the Bible. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, God breathes the breath of life into Adam. In the movie, when Caesar releases the Genesis compound, it's like he's breathing life into his fellow apes, awakening them to their true potential. This mirrors how we as Black people have had to awaken to our true identity and potential in a society that's tried to keep us down. The way the apes are treated in these movies, caged, hosed down, called subhuman, that's not fiction, that's our history. When you see Caesar being sprayed with a fire hose, that's a direct reference to the civil rights protests of the 1960s. They're showing our struggle on the big screen, but most people don't even realize it. Now let's talk about unity. Throughout the movies, Caesar keeps saying, apes together strong. That's not just a catchy phrase, it's biblical. In Ephesians chapter 4, verses 3 to 6, it talks about one body, one spirit, one hope, one Lord, one faith, one baptism. The Bible has always emphasized the importance of unity among God's people, and that's exactly what these movies are showing through the apes. Remember that scene where Caesar breaks one stick easily but can't break a bundle? And that's straight out of Ezekiel chapter 37, verses 15 to 17, where God tells the prophet to join two sticks together as a sign of reuniting Israel. The message is clear. We need to come together as one people to overcome oppression. Now let's talk about something deeper, the idea of America as the Holy Land. Some researchers have pointed out interesting parallels between the geography of North America and descriptions of the Promised Land in the Bible. For example, the Mississippi River system has been compared to the Great River mentioned in biblical accounts. There are also those who argue that certain Native American tribes have customs and practices that seem reminiscent of ancient Israelite traditions. While mainstream historians generally don't support these theories, it's fascinating to consider how these ideas might change our understanding of American history and the concept of the New World. Some scholars have even suggested reinterpreting events like the Crusades, proposing that they may have actually taken place in the Americas rather than the Middle East. While this is a highly controversial idea, not accepted by most historians, it does make us question how much of our history might have been misinterpreted or deliberately obscured. In the context of our discussion about the Planet of the Apes, we can see how the movies play with similar ideas of hidden histories and lost civilizations. The apes building a new society in what was once human territory mirrors some of these alternative historical narratives about the true origins of civilization in the Americas. In Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, we see the character Koba betray his own kind. This isn't just drama, it's a reflection of how some of our own people have turned against us, becoming what the movies call donkeys, or what we might call Uncle Toms. It's a sad reality that's been used against us throughout history, from slavery to the present day. The final movie, War for the Planet of the Apes, is where things get really deep. Caesar becomes a Moses figure, leading his people to freedom. Just like Moses in Deuteronomy 34, verses 1 to 4, Caesar sees the promised land but doesn't enter it himself. In his "I've Been to the Mountaintop" speech, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. poignantly referenced this biblical story. He said, "I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. Just as Moses saw the promised land but did not enter it, Martin Luther King Jr. foresaw a future of equality and justice, yet he did not live to see it realized." Shortly after delivering this speech, he was tragically assassinated, echoing the fate of Moses. Now let's talk about some heavy biblical prophecy. In the movie, they show a fuel tank with Greek letters. The word beginning was in black and end was in red. This isn't random, it's referencing 2 Ezra 6, verse 9, which says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." Esau represents the current world system. Jacob represents us, the true Israelites. The movie is showing us that their rule is coming to an end, and our time is coming. The avalanche at the end of the movie that wipes out the human army, that's Isaiah 59, verse 19. "When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him." It's showing divine intervention on behalf of the oppressed. That's us, family. Now let's talk about something that might have slipped past some viewers. The little white girl in War for the Planet of the Apes. Remember her? The apes protect her, even though she's human. This isn't just a heartwarming subplot, folks. It's showing us something important about our people. Throughout history, even when we've been oppressed and mistreated, we've often shown compassion to those who are vulnerable, even if they look like our oppressors. As the Bible says in Matthew 5:44, "But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." But don't get it twisted. This isn't about us needing to save anybody. It's about showing that we have the moral high ground. Now, let's talk about that iconic image from the original 1968 movie, The Broken Half-Buried Statue of Liberty. They reference this in the new trilogy too, and it's heavy with meaning. This image is straight out of Revelation, folks. Remember Revelation chapter 18, verse 11? It says, "And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore." That statue represents Babylon, the system of oppression that's been holding us down. Seeing it destroyed is a visual prophecy of the fall of this current world order. The merchants weeping, that's talking about the economic system that's been built on our backs crumbling down. In the movies, we see the apes building a new society in the ruins of the old one. That's us, family. We're not just going to survive the fall of this system. We're going to thrive and build something new and better. Remember, in Revelation chapter 21, verse 1, it talks about a new heaven and a new earth. That's what these movies are hinting at, a complete overturning of the current order. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first, just like the Bible says. Now, I know some of y'all might be thinking, but isn't this just a movie? Why are we reading so much into it? Here's the thing. The people who make these movies, they know what they're doing. They study our history, they study the Bible, and they put these messages in their films. Sometimes it's to measure how much we're waking up to the truth. Sometimes it's to hide the truth in plain sight. Remember, in the movie, the apes were branded with Greek letters, just like our ancestors were branded during slavery. The humans in the movie call themselves Alpha Omega, the beginning and the end, just like how the oppressor sees himself as the all in all. But the movie shows that their time is coming to an end, and the colonel in the last movie talks about an unholy kingdom rising up. That's us, family. You know, they see our awakening, our coming into our true identity as the people of the Bible. as something to be feared, but we know the truth. We're not the unholy ones. We're the ones who've been chosen, the ones who've been promised a kingdom. Take the scene where Caesar is crucified on that X-shaped cross. That's not just for dramatic effect. It's connecting our struggle to the ultimate story of oppression and triumph, the crucifixion and resurrection. It's saying that just like Christ rose from the dead, we as a people will rise from the oppression we faced. And let's not forget about the simian flu that makes humans lose their ability to speak. That's symbolic, folks. It represents how the truth, the real history, the real prophecies has been silenced in this society. But just like in the movie, that silence is coming to an end. We're finding our voice again. We're speaking our truth. Now, I want to address something important. Wayne, some people might say, isn't it offensive to compare black people to apes? But that's missing the point entirely. And the apes in these movies represent an oppressed people rising up against injustice. They're shown as intelligent, compassionate, and fighting for their freedom. The movies are flipping the script on the racist imagery that's been used against us, showing that the real animals are the ones who oppress and dehumanize others. These movies are showing us our past, our present, and our future. They're showing the strength we find in unity, the power of awakening to our true identity, and the promise of deliverance that's been given to us in the scriptures. The whole trilogy is showing us a pattern that's been repeated throughout history and prophecy. An oppressed people rising up against injustice. A leader like Moses guiding his people to freedom, but not living to see the promised land himself. A new society being built from the ashes of the old. This isn't just entertainment, it's a wake-up call. It's telling us to look at our history, to understand our identity, to come together as one people. Because just like Caesar says, apes together strong, we need to be together, unified in understanding who we are and what we're destined for. So the next time you watch these movies, or any movie really, look deeper. Ask yourself, what's the real message here? How does this relate to our history, our struggle, our prophecies? Because the truth is out there, family. Sometimes it's hidden in the most unexpected places, even in a movie about talking apes. That's all for this episode of Hidden History and Biblical Mystery. Remember, knowledge is power, and the greatest power comes from knowing who you really are. Until next time, stay woke, stay strong, and keep seeking the truth.